Thanks for clicking on my video, YouTubers. Today I'm going to go over all the gear that I take out to the backcountry and utilize pretty much all this stuff for my extended stays. Everything I'm going to show you in this video has been tried and tested by me. It gets the job done very thoroughly, and I'm going to keep on using it all. It works great for those long duration trips to the country. First off, I guess sitting in front of me here is the Vital stove. This is made in Canada, runs on 2 AA batteries, powers a little fan inside here. This is a heat shield. So basically how it works, you just turn on your fan, start a little fire in here with some tinder, crank the fan up, drop a couple bigger chunks of wood in there, some bigger twigs or small pieces of branches, and you'll have some flame lengths about that high. After a while it gets hot, give it a minute or so, and you'll have a nice hot fire burning down there, and very low smoke also. A lot of smoke starting it though, just like any fire. So that's the Vital stove. Now, before I go on to all my other gear, I should say that the Vital stove was a gift to me, and this pretty much set the stage for most of the other gear that I purchased. I didn't like the fact that this had batteries. I thought to myself, how am I going to go packing all these batteries out there? How long do these last? So I went out and made another purchase, and that was the Goal Zero Elite solar panel. Plenty of good reviews on this. I didn't actually read any reviews before I bought it. Saw it at REI last year, picked it up. I did have one little hiccup with the power pack. There was a recall on these. If they sit in the sun too long or it gets too warm, this thing melts, and melt it did. So luckily the company was prompt in replacing my power pack, and this one works fine. Haven't had any problems. Left it out in the rain a couple of times, left it in the sun all day, and still works. Still good to go. This will charge AA and AAA batteries, and I usually charge my devices off of the power pack instead of plugging them into the solar panel and leaving them in the sun. Who wants to leave their cell phone in the sun? Not me. So after I got this, I figured I would be set with my stove here and my solar panel. That'll keep me cooking. All I need is sticks or leaves or grass. And the rest of the stuff I just kind of started piecing together. This is my MSR 2-man cooking kit, although I've reduced it down to a 1-man cooking kit. Just took one of the cups out and one of the bowls out and used the rest for storage. Inside the cup here I've got some little seasonings. Got another little seasoning container there, some Cliff Bars, and in the bottom it has a little plastic bowl. Looks like this. So this has served me well, and get this back on here. It's seen a lot of use, as you can see. Next on the list, I've got some stuff here. It's my Hygiene. Just got some soap, shampoo. I think that's a little bottle of conditioner, for obvious reasons. Got my toothbrush, and that's pretty much it for that. As far as soap, I think I got Dial soap in here right now. I don't know why it's in there. I usually use Ivory soap, mainly because it floats, and biodegradable, all natural stuff. So that's that. Next up is the water purification system. This is the First Need XL, and made in good old America. It's a little bit pricey. It's about 120, 140 bucks, something like that. The filters are about 50 bucks extra for spare filters. But one filter is estimated to produce about 150 gallons of purified water, and it depends on water conditions, obviously. I think I've got about 50 gallons out of this one already. So just follow the instructions. Pretty much, goes without saying with anything that you buy. If it tells you to do something in the instructions, do it. Yeah, if you neglect your gear will neglect you. So that's the water purification system here. Now, this particular one, before I move on to the next item, almost forgot. This one requires you to flush or back flush with bleach after each trip. So because I stay in the back country for extended periods of time, I usually take a little eyedropper full of bleach, and I'll back flush a couple of times while I'm out, and it still works fine. Like I said, you take care of your gear, and your gear will take care of you. Next over here, this is just some cheesy little tent lights. There's a little LED string of lights. It takes 2 AA's, and I kind of splurged on this. I justified it simply because I have a solar panel and I can charge the batteries whenever I want. But I do enjoy reading quite a bit at nighttime in my tent, so they've come in pretty handy. I enjoy them. Next off, well, I guess we'll go over here to my espresso maker. This bad boy from GSI Outdoors will brew a cup of espresso in about 90 seconds. I used to have a French press, but I always ended up throwing out about a half a cup of coffee, and it took way longer than 90 seconds to make. So I'm sold on this thing here. And it weighs a little bit more, but I'm a pack mule. Weight does not really make itself a factor. Alite Monarch Chair, a 2-legged chair. I've had one of these before and I broke it. When you sit in these chairs, it's kind of hard not to wiggle it side to side if you want to move closer to something. So when you walk it on those 2 legs and wiggle side to side like this, it puts stress on the different joints, and most likely what caused mine to break. And also I was sitting in sand, so I'm thinking a little bit of sand probably got in between the joints, a little abrasion, and assisted with its premature destruction. But I liked it so much, it was so comfortable, that I went and got another one, and I'm going to treat this one right. Next, over here is my first aid kit. This is a Voodoo Tactical First Aid. It came with some basic stuff in it, but I added a bunch of other goodies in here. Probably the coolest things that I added were the extractor. This is a snake bite bee sting kit. It comes with a little razor blade and a disposable shaver. So if you get bit by a snake, just shave the hair off. You make a small incision between the 2 snake punctures. Press this thing down, and it will create a significant amount of vacuum in the affected area. So I've used it for bee stings before, but I've never used it on a snake bite. Hope that stays that way. The next thing, super glue. This will close up a significantly sized wound in a pinch, and it'll keep you sealed up for a couple days. So in a pinch, you get a bad cut, even a small cut on your finger, squeeze it together, put a little dab of super glue on there, and it'll pretty much keep you sealed up for the rest of your trip, most likely. Also, my Dura Shears. This little bad pair of scissors right here, even though these are cheap ones, I think made in Pakistan. These are usually all made to the same specs, and it's all in the teeth. But they used to sell these on infomercials TV and advertised that they could cut through a penny. Now, I do have a cut in this penny already. I already cut it once, but I'm going to show you here how good it cuts, and I'm going to cut it again from the other side. I can do this with one hand or two hands. I want to try to cut it all the way in half, so I'm going to use both hands. Oops. Like maybe I'll have to use one hand and hold it with the other. So I'll stick that right there. There's one cut. And there we go. So we just slice that penny right there. And 2 little slices in it now. So yeah, Dura Shears. Don't ask me what you're going to need these for when a first aid application arises, but just know that they can cut through a penny. So yeah. Next, the Leatherman Micro. Had this for about 15 years or so. It's got all the regular gizmos that a Leatherman has. A little screwdriver, a little knife, little tweezers, little file. But these are awesome pair of little scissors. And they're still going strong. The rest of the stuff in here is pretty straightforward first aid stuff. Bag of band-aids, some Neosporin, triangular bandages, gauze, some stretchy adhesive. It's kind of like an ace bandage, a stretchy adhesive bandage. I guess one thing in here also that I added that's kind of unique to my pack is full bottle of alcohol. And there's ever an occasion where you get one of those bad wounds, deep cut, a puncture wound that you may have to irrigate, fresh water isn't always going to do it, and it's definitely not going to sterilize the wound. So I bring alcohol. I'm probably going to downsize this into a smaller bottle, but I'm definitely going to take this quantity, because I will not be stuck again with a wound like that, fighting off infection, simply because I couldn't get antiseptic pad, just one of these little swabs. Just wasn't cutting it. I do still carry the swabs. I think these are betadine swabs, so I'd much rather irrigate with alcohol than try and swab a wound with one of those things. So that's my first aid kit. We'll put this stuff back in here and tuck it off to the side. Next up is, well, we'll do these first. So this is the Sven saw. The Sven saw is a battle tank of a bow saw. This blade is the original one that I bought with it, and I haven't seen any signs of dull blade yet. I tossed a significant amount of hardwoods at this thing, and it still cuts like it was new. It rattles a little bit when it's in storage, but that does not bother me one bit. Next up is my camp axe. I like this thing because it's so well balanced. You can grip behind the blade here for like close quarters shaping or chopping, or if you want to, I don't know, hack notches or pins into a log or something. You never know. I work with wood a lot when I'm out in the backcountry, doing a lot of whittling and carving. I typically will build my own little table and stuff to cook on, so I like to use this thing. It's a really good woodworking tool, not just for chopping and splitting wood. So a must-have for the backpacking hobbyist. I think we went over all that stuff there. Next, I guess, and last, is my miscellaneous bag. It's where I keep all the good stuff. And in this little tiny bag, I pretty much pack everything that doesn't fit in any of these categories. Here's my my whittling knife. This is made by Flux Cut, and got a bunch of cool blades in it. Again, I like to work with all kinds of different wood when I'm out in the back country, and I find that this whittling knife here is going to serve a very valuable role. You can make pretty much anything out of wood if you've got a little bit of skill and imagination and a bag of band-aids. You can probably set up a whole camp with this pocket knife here. Extra sharp blades, ridiculously sharp. I mean, super duper sharp blades. So I don't bring a sharpener for this. It has a special sharpener for all those blades, but I do not pack it. So there's the Flex Cut. In here we've got some dental floss and the camp utensils. Now you'll see that this knife here has all those funky shaped blades and stuff in it, and this one here is my straight blade. Now these are the only two knives I carry in the backcountry. I see a lot of guys packing all these weird crazy Rambo knives that are just loaded with a bunch of junk. I mean, sure, they're cool, you know, you could put fishing line and sinkers in the handle, and it's got a compass and whatever. This is all I need, and I make do with this also. But this is a really convenient utensil setup because it's got the blade, knife, you've got your fork, spoon. Never needed a corkscrew in the backcountry as of yet, but you never do know. And there's a can opener on this side also. So very convenient, all-in-one multi-tool here. Also, I've got some stuff in here that I'm probably going to be discarding soon that just didn't really work too well for me, or was just not convenient. This is blue dye for the water filter. It tests the integrity of the filter before you use it. If you see blue dye, then your filter's bad. This is a little flashlight that this is one of the items that I'll probably be discarding. It's you know, it works well. There's nothing really wrong with it, but based on the one fact that it operates on these little batteries, it's the only reason I'm gonna get it out of my bag. So in fact, we'll just leave it out right now so I don't forget. In favor of that, I have the Phoenix EO5. This bad boy is awesome. Probably the best flashlight on the market, yet again. Nail clippers, large magnifying lens, if not for survival, just for fun. I've got a couple of different magnesium sticks in here. This one is from Walmart. This one is from, I believe, A.G. Russell. This one sucks. This one doesn't. Basically, this one's really hard to hold on to. You know, if you're trying to shower sparks, and you gotta hit this thing kind of hard to get the sparks to come. If you're trying to fling a shower of sparks at a little tiny pile of tinder, you're gonna have a lot more difficult time aiming that shower of sparks with this one than you would with this one. This is just a backup, cheap entertainment. It's fun to watch little piles of magnesium light on fire. But this one is great. It's got a little hole for a lanyard, and you can aim your stuff really well. Works awesome. Compass, nice compass actually. I've got a couple of glow sticks in here. Set of tweezers. I've also got tweezers in the first aid kit, but they're finer, longer, pointier tweezers for you know, removing bone fragments from a compound fracture or something like that. I don't know. Here's my knife sharpener, which also doubles as my camp axe sharpener. Has a sharpener on one side and a deburring tool on the other. This is made by a company called Arnaud out of France, and this is the first time I used one of these. I just murdered my knife. I would advise if you buy something like this, practice on a cheap knife first. So one bad stroke will take off about 5 years from your blade. So good to have. And that's about it. In my miscellaneous bag, I keep the instructions for my water purifier and a little user guide for that knife sharpener I also keep in there. And over here, can't forget my backup tobacco. I do smoke cigarettes, but when I go to the backcountry I typically don't. So if I ever get the desire to, I keep one of these little roll-it-yourself pouches of tobacco in there. This thing is really, really old too. I think it's probably going to be disgusting if I ever smoke it. But that's about it. I'm gonna leave out the sleeping system, the sleeping bag and the pad and the pillow and the tent. That's gonna pretty much vary on your location, but as far as long-term survival goes, whether it be snowing or in the desert, all the stuff that I've just showed you is tested, proven, and very, very functional. So hope you learned something about a new product that you haven't heard of, or hope you found a new way to set up your pack, or you know, whatever. Have fun in the woods. Be kind to the trees.